Good Thursday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside that weather window. And boy, what a difference a day makes as far as weather goes. Clouds finally in north central Washington as we look down at our beautiful Sky-Fi Tower shot today at Lake Wenatchee. And you can see the beautiful golf course Kaler Glen at the bottom of your screen right in front of the lake there. And some of those clouds out there. We did see a little bit of sun and even some raindrops around noontime in north central Washington. And it was windy out there. In fact, very windy all across our area. The areas in red and pink is where we saw the strongest wind, and those are also the areas where we could still see some wind early evening tonight into mid-evening, and then the wind should go down a little bit after midnight, but still watch out. Wenatchee right smack dab in the middle of that, so we do expect gusty winds to continue, and we'll talk more about that coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. The victim in a fatal car crash on Highway 17 in Grant County in late July has now been identified. Wednesday was a challenging day for firefighters on the Chickaman fire 13 miles northeast of Lake Wenatchee. And the Chelan County Sheriff's Office says they've been receiving calls from people about a scam in which someone calls claiming to be a deputy. But first, we begin tonight. Moses Lake Police say an investigation into heroin sales in the city led to a drug bust Tuesday in Warden, in which more than 3 pounds of heroin were seized. 41-year-old Eric Velasquez Gumasindo was arrested on charges of possession of heroin with intent to deliver, possession of methamphetamine, and 2 counts of alien in possession of a firearm. He's expected to be transferred to federal custody. Numerous local and federal agencies participated in the raid on that home. It was on Highway 170 outside Warden. More than $42,000 in cash, 2 firearms, and 4 cars that were allegedly used to distribute drugs also were seized in that arrest. And a fellow man has died 2 weeks after suffering severe injuries in a Grant County highway crash. 51-year-old Jose Chama Erivas died Tuesday at Sacred Heart Medical Center in Spokane. On July 22nd, Chama's pickup crossed the center line on Highway 17. It was about 8 miles south of Moses Lake and then collided with an oncoming semi-truck. Just minutes prior to that crash, the State Patrol had received a report of the pickup being driven erratically. The cause of the accident remains under investigation. Well, Wednesday was a challenging day for firefighters on the Chickaman fire 13 miles northeast of Lake Wenatchee. The fire high on a ridge in the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest grew to 327 acres, mostly on the southwest flank of the lightning-caused fire. A Type 3 incident management team is coordinating the firefighting effort facing difficult terrain. The fire started last Friday afternoon and since has forced the closure of several roads and trails in the area. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office says they've been receiving calls from people about a scam in which someone calls claiming to be a deputy. The bogus deputy claims the person did not show up for court or jury duty or didn't pay overdue tickets, and a warrant has now been issued for their arrest. They then attempt to collect a fine by telling the person to purchase a prepaid debit card and then read the card number to them. The Sheriff's Office says their deputies would never make such a call, and people shouldn't give out personal or financial information to an unsolicited caller. Coming up next, Okanagan County Commissioners have issued a Please Stop Spreading COVID-19 declaration. A fundraiser has been established in Brewster for an orchard worker who recently died of COVID-19. The city of Chelan will begin limiting access to Lakeside and Don Morse parks this weekend, citing overcrowding and parking issues, and concern that a return to in-class school instruction this fall would lead to a further spread of COVID-19. Governor Jay Inslee and Superintendent of Public Instruction Chris Reichdahl on Wednesday recommended remote learning for almost all the state's schools. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
Traditional values and innovation in honoring the life of each family we serve is part of the ministry of Heritage Memorial Chapel. Our staff is committed to walk with your family with compassion through this time of grief. We are here to help and here to serve, the right kind of help when you need it most. Heritage Memorial Chapel.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
Welcome back. In another news, Okanogan County became an epicenter of the COVID-19 pandemic with 283 new cases reported over the last 2 weeks. That gives the highest number of cases per capita in all the state of Washington. Okanogan County Commissioners issued an advisory proclamation yesterday with what they called, quote, a desperate appeal to the community at large to implement the cautionary measures suggested by Okanogan County health officials. That includes masking in public and social distancing from non-household members at all times, unquote. The commissioners say their new proclamation will remain in effect, quote, until a photograph of all three commissioners together with their smiling faces without masks is released to the press, unquote. Well, the family of a Brewster orchard worker is asking for help to lay their father to rest after he died last weekend of COVID-19. Francisco Montiel Jimenez was 65 years old. His children have started a GoFundMe page to raise money for his funeral costs. Francisco was hospitalized in Wenatchee last month after being diagnosed with COVID-19. He then spent days in the ICU on a ventilator before his death on Saturday. His wife Maria also contracted COVID-19 and is still recovering. You can contribute to their fundraiser at the web address on your screen. Well, the city of Chelan will begin limiting access to Lakeside and Don Morse parks this weekend, citing overcrowding and parking issues. Once the parking lots are full, the parks will be closed and only Chelan residents with valid ID will then be allowed to enter. The limited access is expected to last until at least Labor Day weekend. The state already has limited access to its parks, including Lake Chelan State Park. Entry to state parks also is cut off when parking lots are full. Well, concerned that a return to in-school instruction this fall would lead to a further spread of COVID-19, Governor Jay Inslee and Superintendent of Public Instruction Chris Reichdahl on Wednesday recommended remote learning for almost all the state's school districts. Inslee and Reichdahl said more than $10 million has been allocated to ensure remote learning is more effective than it was last spring when schools were shut down. Several North Central Washington school districts have already announced they will begin the school year online only.
Last spring was schools shut down across the country and students went to do remote learning, and in some cases 3 or 4 different teachers had 3 or 4 different learning management systems, and we intend to be more efficient and more effective about that with professional learning across the state. It's available to all of our educators, our certificated teachers, our paraeducators, and others. As the governor indicated, another over $8.5 million has been released. Thanks again to the legislature and the governor's office for their work here. Our goal here is to connect tens of thousands of free and reduced price lunch families who are in a serviceable area. So they're in an area that has connectivity, but due to their family's financial limitations, they've not been able to access that kind of technology connection, and therefore it really limits their ability to access their learning. This was another thing where we listened to families and listened to community, and they said, can you make this a priority? So we will roll this out here in the next couple of weeks with lots of providers. Many of our districts are already doing this in relationship with those providers. This is the use of Federal CARES Act money. It's one-time money. Folks should not rely on this long-term, but we can connect, again, tens of thousands of families who are free and reduced price lunch eligible, who do not currently have service, and we can provide that for the entire year. So this will be a year's worth of service for those families. Our schools will come into this environment, remote learning, with daily and weekly schedules for students, families, and educators. They're obviously been doing the training to get more efficient and effective at this. We will be taking attendance regularly. Grading practices are back. We are assessing student learning. We are a long ways ahead of where we were last spring when every state in the country shut down their schools to in-person learning. We've done a lot of work here to be ready for this. We expect this to be a better experience for families and students, for those communities who make the choice to go fully remote, but nothing about this is ideal, as the governor said.
You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's features story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
Pybus Public Market's motto is where community meets. Whether it's people, enjoying an event, or they meet a colleague for coffee and whip out their laptop and are able to actually do work here, having quick and reliable Wi-Fi is one of the things that makes Pybus such a great community hub. It just contributes to the welcoming place that we want Pybus to be. I'm Allie, and fiber keeps people connected, and that's what Pybus Market is all about.
The two hottest pickups in America are at Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. First, the Ram 1500 with back-to-back Truck of the Year awards from Motor Trend, and now the Car and Driver 10 Best list for 2020. They call it a luxury sedan with pickup capabilities. Ram is on a roll now with third-generation eco-diesel power. Next up, the Jeep Gladiator, also a 2020 10 Best model based on the new award-winning Jeep Wrangler. It has options and capabilities that no other truck can offer. Two more reasons when it comes to buying a truck: there's no reason to leave town.
So Pam, how's your mom doing?
She's okay. She's struggling. She'd like to stay in her house, and it's getting harder for her to do the daily chores.
What kinds of problems is she having?
Just basic house cleaning, taking care of her house, yard work, taking care of her medicine.
Mm-hmm. It does sound exhausting.
It is very exhausting, and I always worry about her.
Aging and Adult Care can assist you or your loved one to remain comfortably and safely in their own home. Contact them today to start the conversation.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. In tonight's features story, the Chelan County PUD held a virtual groundbreaking yesterday for its new headquarters in Old Station. The PUD will be moving out of its downtown Wenatchee building into a new facility, probably beginning in late 2022.
This project exemplifies things that are really important to us. We start from the fact that our primary job is to provide customer satisfaction. And this project, we believe, will do that in terms of being able to provide better customer service at lower cost than the way we currently operate. It also fits our strategic plan, because our strategic plan spoke to the need to take care of our long-term assets, to create value for the long term for our customers. And our buildings are part of our asset base. They represent about 16% of the value of the entire Chelan PUD. So what we have is the opportunity to create a long-term vision and now translate that into on-the-ground action to do this groundbreaking ceremony. It's going to allow us to create that long-term value through our assets that help to keep rates low here in Chelan County and help to keep reliability high.
Guys are moving some dirt out there. Let's take a look now at your north central Washington weather forecast. And before we get to those details, let's head up to beautiful Lake Wenatchee. We did see some clouds around up that way today. Also a few sprinkles here around the Wenatchee area. That was around noontime or so. Great day to be down at Kaler Glen Golf Course this afternoon, and I'm sure a lot of you that have been tired of this hot weather today felt awfully nice, didn't it? We stayed in the 70s most of the afternoon, but not before we reached an unofficial high this afternoon at Pangbourne of 81 degrees, and believe me, that was a while ago. As I mentioned, we stayed in the 70s throughout most of the afternoon. 89 is our normal high. 67 was our nice mild start to the day today. 63 is normal. Record high 103 set back in 1972. Record low 50 in 2002. Sunrise 5:46, and the sun will set tonight for us at 8:26. Let's take a peek now at that Friday weather forecast. Lots going on, and I'm sure some of you heading out of town for a little R&R this weekend. And here's what you're looking at tomorrow as you head out the door. It's going to be pretty nice. 85 in Moses Lake and Ephrata. Talking middle 80s for most of the rest of us. Cashmere, Wenatchee, Quincy, also Eniat, Chelan, and all the way up into Omak. Beautiful day at Lake Wenatchee tomorrow with a high temperature of 76. Let's take a look at tonight now, and some of those clouds are going to stick around, and unfortunately so is that wind. We will see windy conditions out of the west-northwest, about 10 to 20 miles an hour. It will be a little bit cooler than we've seen also for overnight low temperatures tonight. Some temperatures in the upper 50s, so open those windows up tonight. That cool air should feel great. For Friday, sunny, a light breeze, still cooler than normal. High temperatures tomorrow, mainly in the middle 80s. Remember, our normal is about 89, so it's still a very light orange for most of eastern and north central Washington for Friday. On Saturday, really not a bad way to start our weekend. Sunny, just a few spots that are going to see some breezy conditions, but it will warm up a little bit on Saturday too. We're talking most eastern Washington temperatures, mid to upper 80s on Saturday, even a little bit warmer on that then as we finish our weekend up on Sunday. Sunny skies, in fact sunshine all the way back in the Dakotas, and beautiful 80s, 90s, and of course 100s in the desert Southwest. Will mainly be in the upper 80s on Sunday, and then we'll really warm up once again on Monday. We're going to call it hot. A few breezy conditions right around the Wenatchee area, but notice the darker orange color now, which indicates at least 90-degree temperatures. In fact, I think Monday we're going to get into the middle 90s before we cool back just a little bit on Tuesday. Sunny skies for Tuesday, but temperatures still above normal with highs then in the lower 90s. Let's take a look now at your Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling 7-day forecast. And Wednesday will be nice as well at 59. Our overnight low tonight, as I mentioned, a beautiful night to open up those windows. 84 for Friday, 86 on Saturday. Then a slow warming trend as we get into Monday. 90 your high temperature on Sunday, 94 Monday. And we're going to stay with those sunny skies both Tuesday and Wednesday. But temperatures on Wednesday cooling back a bit. By then, high temperatures around 87 degrees. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Nissan is the value leader in new cars and SUVs. Check out these new models starting at under $20,000. The all-new Versa from $17,020. The all-new Sentra from $17,400. And the all-new Kicks from $17,995. Now you can have the Nissan style, performance, and reliability, all for under $20,000.
And they're all here at Town Nissan, up behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
Hi, Stephen DeVilbiss here, Branch Manager of Beneficial and Home Care. We are an equal opportunity employer and we do not discriminate in employment or services. It is our mission to maximize our clients' physical health and sense of mental well-being while remaining in the comfort of their home. We are currently seeking professional caregivers who share our mission to help our clients live safely and comfortably at home. Call Beneficial and Home Care. Schedule your interview today. 509-663-7900.
At Harvest Valley Pest Control, we know you are committed to making your home and business a healthy and pest-free place. Hi, I'm David. Give us a call and we'll give you a firm price over the phone and schedule a time that works for you. We will do an in-depth 30-point healthy home or business inspection and craft a customized plan of action designed specifically for your pest issue. Give us a call or visit our website today.
it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Thursday to you. Kyle Seager hit his 200th career home run, and Marco Gonzalez struck out 7 over 7 innings to help the Mariners snap a 4-game losing streak with a 7-6 win over the Angels last night. Seager's shot came in the bottom of the third with 2 on and 2 out against left-handed reliever Ryan Butcher. It was Seager's 71st home run off left-handed pitching.
High drive right field. That baby's gone.
Or do that.
That thing is long gone. A 3-run jack by Kyle Seager. The Mariners have a 3-1 lead.
He just continues to drive in runs.
Career blast number 200 for Kyle Seager. Big time blast.
I'm still a few behind them, so yeah, I might have a little way to go. I appreciate the company, but I think I still got a little while to go to catch those guys. But no, 200 is definitely something I'm very proud of. It's not something that I necessarily thought was going to be part of my game, growing up or anything like that, or even when you break in. So it's something I'm extremely proud of.
Former Apple Sock Marco Gonzalez earned the victory on the mound, going 7 innings, allowing 3 runs on 3 solo home runs with 7 strikeouts. Dylan Moore 3 for 5 at the plate and scored 2 runs as Seattle scored 3 in the 3rd, a run in the 5th, and 3 more in the 7th. Seattle and LA wrapping up that series today. Taijuan Walker got roughed up for 4 runs on 3 hits and 3 2/3, giving up a home run to Shohei Ohtani whilst walking 3 and striking out 3. Daniel Vogelbach hit his first home run of the year with a solo shot in the 4th. Now Colorado comes to town to begin a 3-game weekend series tomorrow at 6:40. Yusei Kikuchi will go up against the Rockies' Antonio Senzatella. Taking a look at the Les Schwab American League West scoreboard from last night. Arizona brought 14 men to the plate in a 9-run 4th inning as the Diamondbacks beat the Astros 14-7. Austin Allen's 2-run home run in the bottom of the 7th gave Oakland the lead, and Matt Olson's solo shot in the 8th provided a little cushion. The A's beat the Rangers 6-4. Oakland's lead over Houston grew to a 1.5 games in the American League West. Seattle leapfrogged the Angels and Rangers into 3rd, 3.5 games back. Well, just days before training camp began, the Seahawks made a blockbuster trade for safety Jamal Adams. Seattle gave up 2 first-round draft picks and defensive back Bradley McDougald to obtain Adams, who had become unhappy with the New York Jets. As far as Pete Carroll is concerned, General Manager John Schneider deserves the credit for getting the Pro Bowler to Seattle.
This is such an extraordinary deal that John figured out and his guys. To not give him credit for this is to totally not understand what happened. This thing started months ago, and when there was no time that you would think that this could ever be where this guy would be on our club and playing here at the VMAC, John had a thought that it could happen, and he stayed with it, and he processed it. He worked at the highest levels of the communication of it to get it worked out. The background work that we did to answer your question and to understand the player, was it worth what we did to go get him? Would he fit into the club? Would he match up in our locker room? Could he get along with his coach? Could he support his head coach? There was all kinds of things we needed to figure out, and I don't have I can't tell you I know exactly how it is because we haven't been in the locker room with him. But what I know what other players have said, I know what other coaches have said, I know what his college coaches have said. We've tracked down some of his real history to him, and we found nothing that would give us any other thought that he's going to be a great teammate, and he's going to do everything he can to help his team win.
Now, Adams has been characterized as a bad teammate or a problem child for the Jets with his off-field antics. Carroll addressed the issue by saying he will not be a problem in Seattle.
One of the things you could look at, you could see him be all fiery and interpret that like he's being selfish or like he's being overly outgoing or whatever. Come on. This guy loves what he does, and he cares so much that the passion just explodes out of him at times, which is exactly what you've seen in players that we've had in our program for years. So to have a chance to add that to our team, forget all the playmaking stuff. It's that element of mentality that I love to add so that Bobby gets to play with a guy like that, and that Jay Reed gets to play with a guy like that, and Bruce, and they'll all feed off of each other because we all love to be that way. That's the way we love about this game, is cutting it loose and letting it go and getting to that primal mentality that this game allows. So I don't know how it's going to be in the locker room, but I do know what I know, and what I know is I couldn't be more excited about. Saying all that, it's still about being a great teammate. It's still about being a great teammate. That means that you're here to serve others. And so he's heard that, and he'll hear it again, and he'll hear it again and again and again. And I know he'll be in total compliance with that. I'm not worried. I'm not worried for a second about that. But he needs to learn us and to know what we're talking about here. And I know he's really excited about it, and so there ain't gonna be any problem.
The 6th overall draft pick by the Jets in 2017, Adams has 12 sacks, 6 forced fumbles, 273 tackles, and 2 interceptions to go along with 2 Pro Bowls while in New York for 3 seasons. Well, meanwhile, the Seahawks are reportedly interested in signing veteran linebacker Clay Matthews or defensive end Everson Griffin. Both came up with 8 sacks last season. This report comes from the NFL Network's Michael Silver. In addition, Seattle and San Francisco not only competing for the NFC West crown, but apparently players too. Seattle claimed former 49ers cornerback and kick returner DJ Reed off of waivers. Former Seahawks defensive end Deion Jordan was visiting with San Francisco earlier this week, and former Seattle pass rusher Ziggy Ansah is going through a physical and COVID-19 testing with the Niners. All this information from Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network and ESPN's Adam Schefter. In addition, the Seahawks have re-signed defensive end Brandon Jackson, who was just released 2 weeks ago from Seattle. Finally, hockey on the menu tonight here on the NCWLIFE channel. Be sure and tune in. Wenatchee Wild take on Salmon Arm Silverbacks at the Town Toyota Center. Art Checker with a call. This game from last October at 7 tonight. That's sports. I'm Eric Granstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, my friend. And finally tonight, Central Washington STEM teachers will get together virtually next week to enrich their knowledge of science and engineering and instruction. The North Central Educational Service District hosts its 4th annual STEM Summit online starting on Tuesday, offering continuing training to teachers where previous summits did so in person. Previous summits were done also in just a few days, but because of breakout sessions and the need to work remotely, the 2020 summit takes place over about a week and a half. There's still time, by the way, for teachers in the region to sign up online. Now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. Tomorrow on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, we'll visit with the superintendent of the Wenatchee School District, Paul Gordon. Will be my guest. As you know, they're going to be starting classes on August 26th online for everybody, and hopefully you'll be able to ramp up as things progress and get better to more in-class learning experiences for the students of the Wenatchee School District. Paul Gordon will give us the latest update on that, plus news, sports, and the weekend weather forecast live and local tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., a Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll see you then. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Dan. We'll be watching. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-NCWL. That's 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
With TV advertising, what we want to do is more deeply connect with the community.
People spot me in different parts around North Central, Costco and Wenatchee, say, hey, you're the pizza guy. And so they wouldn't know that if it weren't for the TV commercials we've done.
We've been here so long that people already know who we are and what we do, but to have that image flash on their television screen as opposed to just hearing it on the radio or seeing it in the newspaper, I just love the fact that we can actually put our finger on when a customer comes in and says, I saw your ad.
It's becoming increasingly difficult in this digital age to know where are your customers listening or watching, because I watch all the different channels that they watch too, like Cooking Channel, History Channel, and so it was wonderful to be able to be on there.
I would say that if you want to do business in Wenatchee, then you should connect with the people of Wenatchee, and there's no better way to do that than with NCWLIFE.
calories, no sweeteners, all smiles. Bubbly sparkling water. Crack a smile.